Good evening and welcome to The Pulse. I'm Elena Barbera and I'm filling in for your usual host tonight. No headline is more important than what happened today in Minneapolis. A deranged shooter fired a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol into a church service at Annunciation Catholic School. 2 children lost their lives and 17 others were injured, 14 of them children. 2 of those remain in critical condition, but thankfully are expected to survive. Details have been pouring in all day, and we're going to bring it all to you tonight. I am joined by America's Pulse Network's own Seth Eisenberg and a gentleman from New Jersey named Jack Brangan, who's currently running for a state assembly seat in Jersey's 6th district. Let's break it down.
Yeah.
What is so funny, Seth?
Just Damon jumping in, trying to steal spotlight.
Oh. Well, gentlemen, Jack, Seth,
Yes.
Good to see you guys tonight.
Nice to see you.
We've got a really terrible topic. There's no way you could have possibly stayed away from it today. This shooting in Minneapolis, it's all anyone's talking about. Do you have any opening remarks before we get into it? Because the first thing I want to show you is a clip from the the shooter's video that he posted on YouTube before the incident. No, you just want to get into it?
I was just going to say, it's a shame they can't kill him twice.
Yeah, that he took his own life, right?
Coward.
Himself.
Right.
Yeah, he's a coward, yeah.
So, my thoughts were this. It is a nightmare. It is horrible. It's just a terrible thing all the way around. But, we have sort of done this to ourselves because we have turned our school system into a factory for transgenderism. At least that's the case here in New Jersey. I'm probably pretty certain that in Minnesota, the curriculum leans in that direction. Now, this is a recipe for disaster, right? Because this runs contrary to, natural human tendencies, but the school districts are normalizing this. And they normalize it, they begin normalizing it, discussing it at the most tender age of kindergarten, first grade. And this has never been done in any society since the beginning of mankind, that we have taught our youngest boys that possibly they could be a girl. And we're teaching our girls that they could possibly be a boy. This has never been done. Right. So, it runs contrary to all civilizations, virtually all of them. It runs contrary to virtually all religions, with some exceptions. So it's impossible to predict the outcome of this. There is no superintendent. There is no principal that can tell you what's going to happen after 12 years of this sort of curriculum and training. And I think we're starting to see what can happen.
That's
I think
exactly
the
right.
question is being answered right before our very eyes.
Yeah, I don't think we have to wait 12 years to get the answer. We're seeing detransitioners, we're seeing psychosis, we're seeing violence from this. And, you're absolutely right that this is contrary to all natural order.
It is.
Yeah, let's take a look at this clip. The shooter posted an 11-minute video on YouTube before the shooting. This is just a short snippet of it. Damon, can you pop this up?
9mm go bang. I'm the woker, baby. Why so curious? Where's your fucking god now? Shit. Skibbity Riz. Scum gang. The big boy. Fucking rip and tear.
That's pretty dark.
It's pretty terrifying.
Seth, Seth, any response?
He's a piece of shit. The world's a better place without him. And I hope he felt, when he killed himself, I hope he felt every second before he expired. I hope it was the most painful experience of his life. And now he has hell to look forward to. So,
Yeah, that's the only thing. There are some of the messages that were on there, not in this clip, but in the longer clip. One of the weapons had the words "Israel must fall."
oh yeah, I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is it's very dark and it's terrifying to me at the same time. Now, this is something that didn't start this morning.
No.
There had to be signs along the way. This, quite frankly, after seeing that for the first time, I've never seen this before. The transgenderism, frankly, is sort of minor to the sadistic, things that were going on in that films. Probably seem much worse. Somebody knew about this.
Oh yeah.
Someone in the family. This is not something. I really think, frankly, the transgender part, it might be a little irrelevant. I don't say irrelevant, but that's he's a murderer. He's a mass murderer, and I don't know. That's hard to hide those tendencies.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. So we can get more into the relevancy of the transgenderism.
Mhm.
We have a lot. I have more stuff to show you on that, because I disagree with you on that. But we'll put a pin in it for now.
Okay.
This because the other parts of it are true. It is not only transgenderism that caused this. This is an anti. This kid bought into anti-Semitism. He bought into left-wing politics. It also one of the magazines also said kill Donald Trump.
Right. He's got many issues going on here. I think that's my point. The transgenderism is one of them.
Right. He had names of other. He idolizes other mass shooters. Some of the names that were on the magazines included
Columbine, wasn't it?
James Holmes, who did the Aurora, Colorado shooting. I'm not sure about Columbine. Adam Lanza, who shot up the Sandy Hook Elementary School back in 2012 and killed all those kids.
Maybe that's what I read.
Yeah, and on there you saw there was a piece of wood. There was a 2x4 that he used to block one of the doors of the church before he started shooting, and he had written all over that. So there's a tremendous amount of sickness here. Will you pop up his photo just so we can see his face, Damon? This guy, his name is Robert Westman, I should say. Although his parents, when he was 17 years old, legally changed his name to Robin. He was in his early 20s, and he's completely out of his mind. And then he killed himself. So we can get rid of his face. We don't need to see him anymore, in my opinion. This guy has, like I said, been completely indoctrinated into hatred. And I want to read to you from the letter that he wrote to his family. I mean, it's really incredible that so quickly we have so much information, but that is really thanks to the fact that he put this information out. He filmed, as part of that 11-minute video, he filmed the letter. I'm going to read it to you guys. Well, it's parts of it because it's 4 pages. I can't get through it all. Right after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
You know, I got to say, Seth, you know, we're on this show a lot together, and we're usually laughing and yelling at each other and having a much better time tonight. And there really is a much more, I mean, this is somber.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and
It
it's because of this lunatic. I'm going to just read you a piece. This is from the second page of his letter to his friends and family. Oh, I'm frozen. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
There you go. Gotcha.
I have wanted this for so long. I am not well. I am not right. I am a sad person, haunted by these thoughts that do not go away. I know this is wrong, but I can't seem to stop myself. I'm severely depressed and have been suicidal for years. Only recently, you know, which is odd because I thought making him trans was going to cure his suicide. Anyway, only recently have I lost all hope and decided to perform my final action against this world. I don't want to kneel down for the injustices of this world. I want to die. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees constantly in pain. I know, Seth, your face is just so spot on. Let me just read you a little bit more from the next page. I want to go out on my own means. Unfortunately, due to my depression, anger, and twisted mind, I want to fulfill a final act that has been in the back of my head for years, as you predicted, Jack. He says, I just want to escape from this world, escape from the constant bills, shitty jobs, shitty people, and injustices of America.
Mm-hmm.
Seth.
Well, if he had mental illness like that was that bad, his parents knew. There's no way. I mean, there's no way they didn't know. I'm not blaming his parents, but I'm holding them accountable for not being parents, obviously. And I don't care if that's wrong and it offends them and it hurts their feelings and people think I'm being wrong. Fuck them. Their son's a shitbird and I'm glad he's dead. I just wish he had enough balls to kill himself first before hurting other people who had nothing to do with anything he had to say.
Right.
It takes no man to walk into a school with little kids and start shooting. That's a piece of shit. And I hold the Democrats responsible for this because they promote this. They promote hatred. They promote violence. You can look on Facebook or X and you can see people saying, I hope President Trump dies. I can't wait to see he's dead. They are to blame for this. And if this is not a wake-up call for people in this country to start fucking beating Democrats every time they see them with a baseball bat or a 2x4 or run them over with a goddamn car, they are a cancer. And they will not stop until they are cut out. And if that means we got to hurt them, then we hurt them because they have no problem hurting us. They have no problem promoting violence. They have no problem condoning it. They relish the fact that people do this. I think Tim Fazenbaker said they're more pissed off people are praying than they are at the shooter. That's how sick and twisted this country's become with the Democrats. They're more angry at someone praying for these children than they are the guy that shot them.
Yes.
And there are people that are telling you, well, it's not trans people. Yes, it is. It's trans people. And I'll say it, trans people are sick fucking people. They need to have their head examined and they need to be committed until they are deemed no longer a threat to themselves or society. If that means they die in an asylum of old age, guess what? Die in an asylum of old age because I'm sick of pussyfooting around. I'm sick of trying to be nice with people and I'm sick of trying to get along. I don't want to get along anymore with these people. I want nothing to do with them. Fuck them.
I would agree with everything you said except the baseball bat and the running him over with a car. Only because, you know, I understand the sentiment, but yeah, let's.
I don't mean
Yeah,
literally.
I mean,
And just for the record, I know Seth and he's speaking in hyperbole, so everybody calm down. Jack,
Right.
what do you think about what?
yeah, actually, to Seth's point, I mean, that was, I did hear about the Trump comments and the Israel comments. And actually, I mentioned to my wife, I said, this all sounds like Democrat stuff. And it is Democrat talk. And I think, you know, we are seeing that they keep talking about trans community and so on and so forth. You know, it's becoming obvious that there is a violent component to this group. At least it's starting to define itself as so, because we had the case in, was it Nashville, where there was a trans individual that shot up another elementary school, you know, the most vulnerable.
It's another Christian school. Yeah.
School. And there may be other ones too so this has taken on a very dark turn. And you know, the Democrats talk about, you know, we have to stop attacking the trans community. I have to tell you, in all honesty, I never hear anyone talking again. Frankly, if you're over 18 and you're trans, personally, I don't care what you do. I have no opinion, frankly, about what you do. Most people that I know, when it comes to trans adults, have no opinions. They might not agree with it, but they do say the person can live their own life. The only time when there's an issue is when you bring it down into curriculum and try to influence children with this. So I don't see that generally there's an attack. I mean, people cannot, I say generally cannot warm up to this lifestyle, but I don't see people hunting them down or anything like that.
No.
So I don't know what the innuendo here with the Democrats are, that they're under attack. And, you know, I don't see it.
You just hit the nail on the head. They're poisoning these children's minds with this bonkers ideology and then telling them that they are victimized as a result of it and that they are under attack. You see it all the time. Trans people are being genocided. Trans people are being hurt at every corner. Where? If it happens here and there, no more than it happens proportionally, probably less it happens to them than it does happen to straight people out here. So they're convincing them that they're victims. You know, what really stood out for me in this letter is when he said he doesn't want to live in the injustices of America. Like,
see, this starts also very early. There is a thing in New Jersey called social emotional learning.
Yeah.
And
widespread.
Social emotional learning was the hardest thing for me to really get my arms around of. You know, it sort of reminds me of that little bead of mercury. Every time you think you know what it is, it sort of squirts away that it's not quite that. But it seems to me what they are doing with these kids, first of all, is at a very young age, they are talking to these children about their feelings, right? That the feelings are most important. The feelings are predominant. Now, number one, I don't want a teacher talking to my kids about feelings, but this is, you know, they are not psychologists, they're not psychiatrists, they're not child study team. In a way, it's a little creepy. But what they're doing here is that they're inverting reality and truth. In other words, what they're saying, if you feel like you're a victim, then you are a victim, even though the truth is you are not a victim. So feelings begins to trump truth and reality. Feelings become the most important thing. So, you know, if he feels as though he is being attacked, therefore he can say, I am being attacked, when he is not really. There's really no evidence that the person is being attacked. And they do this with diversity, equity, and inclusion with the Black kids when they tell them, look, if you are a victim, look what's happening. The system is stacked against you when it really is not. But if you feel like you're a victim, then therefore you are, when there's no evidence that anybody's taking any action against you. But if you feel you are, that's the reality. That's the truth. That's when they talk about everybody has their truth. But so
Jack, yeah. I mean, they were, truly imaginary victims before Donald Trump came back into office in January. Now they do have, I don't want to say legitimize transgenderism on children, but their gripe is that he is cracking down on transgenderism and stopping and around the country now laws are being put into place to stop the transing of children, but by both puberty blockers and surgeries, which they said weren't happening and absolutely were happening. So now they have a real gripe. Like, I want to mutilate my body as a child. I want to mutilate my child's body. And you're telling me I can't. For a psychopath, that's a real problem.
Right.
So, they do have a real gripe now. But again, all the SSRIs that they're pumping these kids filled with.
I would say a perceived gripe. I mean, the reality is that we cannot be telling kids this. In their world, it's a gripe.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
In the real world, it is not a gripe. It's
in the real world, it's doing the right thing and protecting children from psychotic parents and themselves and teachers. We really, I forgot what I was going to say, but we're on the same page with that. We're on the same page with that. Let me tell you a little bit of something about the local news. So KSTP in Minneapolis said neighbor, and this is about the home of the shooter, which was being, was surrounded and, is probably still to this moment loaded with cops and FBI. Neighbors say the home was occupied by a man, a woman, and an adult child whom KSTB has identified as Westman. Neighbors gave a variety of accounts about their interactions with the family. Some say the family kept to themselves. Others say they were friendly. One neighbor even described Robin Westman, which it annoys me to call this boy by a girl's name, described Robin Westman as a non-violent kid. What do you think, Seth?
Well, he just shit all over that. And going back to what I just said, I am not calling for violence. I am venting and I'm being figuratively speaking. I'm not
hyperbolic. Yes, I know.
I just want people to know that because I don't want to get nasty emails. But yeah, he wasn't violent. So he just woke up today and decided to be violent? That this all happened in a 12-hour period? No, he probably tortured animals. He probably set fires. He was probably a psychopath from Jump Street. And and changing his name and his parents playing along with that probably just pushed him over the edge. That was all he needed to break the straw that broke the camel's back. These people are sick, and I don't care if that offends them. They're sick. No normal person wakes up and goes, hey, I want to whack off my genitalia because I think I'm a girl. Again, this all goes back to Democrats. I blame them. The blood is on their hands. I'm so sick of hearing what they have to say. It's their fault.
When you load these kids up, though, with hormones and hormone disruptors, it's just plain science that hormones.
Oh, yeah. I blame the parents, too.
Affect your mind. Then they're also on antidepressants. And because the hormones that was supposed to cure their depression and anxiety, dysphoria, actually make it worse. Nothing makes them, they need mental health. They need legitimate mental health care, not to be pumped up with chemicals. They're having psychotic breaks. So the transgenderism, back to your earlier comment, Jack, it absolutely is. It absolutely is a major factor in this. And also, again, the trans ideology and the victimization that we talked about. I think
parents that do to their children should be arrested and charged with child abuse. Bottom line, they should be charged with child abuse. CPS should come in and pull the kids out of the house, and they should never see them again.
Yeah, except that CPS is transing kids nowadays. Well,
yeah, I mean,
I don't know. We need a new Child Protective Services organization that's based in reality.
Those parents need to be charged and arrested and convicted and spend the rest of their lives in jail.
Why aren't you on it? Okay, let's go. So
I was going to say there was a comment here about the DSM-5, the manual. This is the diagnostic and statistical manual that the psychologists and psychiatrists use to define there it is, that it defines illnesses for psychiatrists, psychologists. But with regard to gender dysphoria, it was changed in 2012. It was always considered an illness But so many of our institutions have been taken over by the wokesters that they redefined what gender dysphoria was, that it was not an illness, it was a conditioned, that it was a, incongruence of a person's feeling with their assigned birth, something like that, but not one that implied that it was an illness or that it needed to be treated. It was just a condition that could very well be normal and can be affirmed. And, that's how the DSM has been manipulated to support this. But again, it goes back into first and second grade. In New Jersey, they have this comprehensive sex ed curriculum, and it came out in 2 versions. And in the first version, in first grade, they had sentences that says sometimes you may be a boy, and may have all the boy's parts, but sometimes you may feel like a girl. So this is now for a young boy, 6 years old, this is off on the wrong direction, because this sort of thing is repeated again in second, third, fourth grade, and it becomes normalized. By 5th grade, they introduce puberty blockers, trying to normalize all this stuff. Anal sex became a new part of the curriculum.
Yep.
So, look, it's very clear what's going on here. I mean, some people call it grooming. I call it's normalizing this whole thing. And I don't know.
Grooming is normalization. Yeah, that's exactly what grooming is. So we were speaking. Yeah. Wait, let me show you, Jack, though. You think it starts in kindergarten. This is a book called Bye Bye Binary. And this is a board book. Oh, look at Seth's head's going to explode. This is a board book for babies. And it says, baby, and I'm ready to smash gender norms. They're only social constructs anyway. So anyway, I could, I'll keep moving, but
it's interesting in New Jersey for mothers that give birth. I think on the documentation you have male, female, and then you have other options, like a third option to put down as the gender assigned at birth in New Jersey. So you have at least a third line on. There might be more. I don't know.
Right. So the point being, like, the indoctrination into these kids is so deep, and it is so poisonous to their mind that they can't distinguish up from down, and they're detached from reality. And we see what happened today. Jacob Fry, who's the mayor of Minneapolis, he's mad that people like us are talking about the trans issue attached to this shooting. Damon, can you pop up the clip of the mayor?
I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity.
So all of us have lost our sense of common humanity, guys. You, me, yeah. Seth, what do you think about the mayors?
Yeah. So it's not okay to use this situation to attack trans people, but it's okay for him to use this situation to politic and push an agenda in everybody else's face. So it's okay for him, but God forbid anybody else say anything about it, because then it's wrong. Fuck him too. This sick son of a bitch. I mean, the kids are dead. That should be the focus of anything he's saying. That should be it. The shooter's dead. Praise God. I hope it hurt. We have children that are hurt. We have parents that are grieving. We have kids in the hospital. That's all we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about that sick son of a bitch or his worthless family. We're going to talk about the kids, how we can help them, what we can do for them. We'll address everything else later. Right now, that's our focus, and that's what we're going to talk about. But no, that bastard has to use it to politic and have a little stump speech and talk about agendas and push it in everybody's face. If you don't agree with me, you're wrong. You know what? We don't need another president. What we need is a meteor to hit this planet so we can reset and start over again, because this is all bullshit. If there's a God and you believe in God and you're trying to tell me he's happy, I disagree. He's got to be the angriest entity in the universe if he's watching what's going on now. He's got to be going, you know what? Maybe it's time for another flood. Maybe I need to teach you all again that what you're doing is bullshit. And I'm going to flood you all out again. Maybe that's what we need. Just a giant reset and start again from cavemen.
You might want to read the book of Revelation.
Good. I hope it happens. We need that because everybody's lost their goddamn minds.
It's coming, Seth. Yeah.
I mean, people like the mayor are trying to disarm people like us, trying to put a guilt trip on us that if we dare defend these children that have been murdered, that somehow it's an attack on the trans community. Our concern is with the children, not against the trans community, but against this killer.
Who's trans?
And everything that he stands for.
Well, Jack, speak for yourself, because I am against the trans ideology, and I believe that the trans ideology played a big part in what's happening here. We had a Denver school shooter. 2 of them were trans. Aberdeen shooter. We had the Nashville shooter, was also trans. We had an Iowa shooter, Dylan Butler, who was gender fluid, which is also trans. Philadelphia shooter, trans. Colorado Springs, identified as non-binary, which is also some sort of trans. Like, this is an epidemic. So I don't hate the people, but this ideology is poison to our society, and I do not pretend, and I'm not gonna subtract it just to make the mayor of Minneapolis feel better, because this is a big part of the situation.
I mean, I'll go back to my original statement about the schools. It needs to be taken out of the schools, root and branch, total 100%.
No, what we need to do is pull your kids out of goddamn public school and homeschool them. Hit these people in the wallet. That's the only way they're going to learn. Yes. If you start pulling people out of schools, they lose funding. If they lose funding, they can't hire teachers. And if they can't hire teachers, the schools will close. Pull your kids out of public school immediately. Homeschool them. And then eventually the schools will beg you to come back, and they'll go, we'll do whatever you want us to do. What do we got to do to get you back? That's the only way these people will listen, is we go back to communities and homes, fathers and moms, and we take care of our own. Fuck the system. Stop feeding into it. You can't play a game if you don't know the rules, and they will not tell us the rules. So get out of the game and take care of yourself and take care of your family. Screw the system. It's not getting any better. It's getting worse. Homeschool. Then they'll start to listen when they start losing money. Yeah. But I guarantee you, if you start homeschooling, they'll make it illegal. They'll make it to where you can't homeschool because it'll be impossible to meet the requirements. I'm telling you, they will change the rules to the game if they already know. Yeah, that's what I mean. But don't play the game anymore. Gandhi said it best. You can't fix a broken system from the outside. You can only fix it from the inside. And we're not on the inside, so abandon it completely. Leave it alone. It'll die on its own if we stop feeding it. And we need to stop feeding it, or shit like this is going to continue to happen because no one can stop it because you don't know how to. Back out of the system. Stop participating. Non-participation is the only way to change this. Yeah.
Jack, what do you say about that? Because you're running for office, it would not be popular for probably you to say, burn it all down, like Seth and I want to do. Again, figurative burn. What do you say about this situation? I mean, it is so entrenched, not just in the curriculum. Even if you ripped it out of the curriculum, you took it out of the libraries, you took it off the classroom bookshelves, you still have, let me finish, you still have teachers who have been deeply, deeply indoctrinated into this. Their college educations leading them up to being teachers have taught them to become social activists. Everything is around social emotional learning, gender identity, America sucks. How do you, without what Seth just said, how do you change that? Or at least give parents hope that you're gonna make a difference at the State House.
Yeah, well, you left out the unions too. In New Jersey, it's called the NJEA, who is a subsidiary of the NEA, and they are up to their eyeballs and all of this stuff. So if you're asking me how we're going to fix all of this, I do not take the, I'm not going to boil the ocean. It's like, how do you eat a elephant? You do it one bite at a time. Yeah. Right? And what I think will be a major step, instead of tearing everything down, you need the right people in office, because if you have the right people in office, all of the entire curriculum, at least in New Jersey, was developed and approved by the State Board of Education. Well, they all need to be fired, right? They have to go. In New Jersey, who created this curriculum? Who provided the input? Planned Parenthood was a major contributor. Advocates for Youth, I don't know if you've heard of them, but they are a big push in transgenderism. There's another one called Garden State Equality, which is a local group in the state, and they focus on transgender education. They are the ones that wrote this curriculum. They all need to go. You know, the other piece of this is abortion is throughout this whole curriculum. So if you get the right people in as governor, and I know Jack Chitterelli is behind, we're all on the same page with this. If you put me in Legislative 6 and my partner, Pete Sykes, and I know, Elena, you interviewed Constance in right next door to us in Legislative District 5, and I realize this is all local politics. But the question here is in very blue New Jersey. We need to turn it red. And when we turn it red with the right governor and the right assembly, this stuff goes. And frankly, teachers that begin pushing this, they will go as well.
All right, that's fantastic. Thank you. Because as much as Seth and I want everyone to just pull their kids out, it's not realistic. And a lot of people just aren't going to do it for a million different reasons, not just because it's inconvenient or they have to work, but because they are just not listening, and they're not tuned in to how bad and how evil and dark the system has gotten.
See, in a way, this is the case where, when good people sleep, evil flourishes. Unfortunately, all of us were sort of asleep at the wheel, and somehow this indoctrination got ensconced into every single grade. I mean, you got to hand it to the transgender activists. This is quite an accomplishment. But it's all of our, we just allowed it to happen because we were not paying attention. It's not impossible to get it out, but you cannot put another Democrat, like you were saying, Seth. If you think anything is going to change at all with another Democrat running the state or running the government, forget it. It's not going to change. You must put conservative Republicans in.
Yes.
Not the Rhino Republicans, conservative Republicans, MAGA Republicans, and it will get fixed.
Yes, thank you, Jack. And there's more to it than the schools. We'll talk a little bit more about it right after the break.
Okay.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Welcome back. All right. So, on top of the schools, which we've really gotten through, this hatred, the victimization, the trans ideology, is coming down from the top. It's coming down. In the Biden administration, we had topless trannies dancing on the White House lawn. Everything that, Kamala and Joe were all in on it. The Board of Education, the Department of Education in Washington was pushing it hard down through the channels. They spent hundreds of billions on DEI. And anyway, so let's look at this picture. Damon, can you please pop up the picture of, this is the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, where this horrific attack took place. Her name is Penny Flanagan. And this is her wearing a shirt that says "Protect Trans Kids." What is with the creepy knife on the shirt? If this does not say "protect at all costs," meaning commit violence against any who don't stand with you, such as Catholics who believe that God created man and woman and that God's order in God's creation is perfect as is. I don't know what else this shirt could possibly say. Can you get her funny face off the screen, because it's making me mad. Seth, what do you think about that? What would you say to her if you saw her wearing that shirt? That's what I really.
I wouldn't dignify anything she said with a response. I would ignore her like a leper. I just want to say, there are families tonight that will never be the same. Never. Even if their children survive, they will never be the same. These parents have been waiting for politicians to do fucking anything other than goddamn run their mouth to fix things. We need to stop looking to DC or your state capital or your county seat for help. They are not going to help you. Their job is to create problems, so you need them there to try to fix them. Problems never get fixed by government. Never. They just get worse or they get ignored. Stop participating in the system. Stop. They don't care. They need these problems so they can get reelected. Pull your kids out of school. Homeschool them. This is just going to keep happening. You're not going to root anybody out of anything. You're not going to get the teachers out of school to teach this. You get elected, you're only there for a couple terms. They'll find a way to get you out and put somebody back in and bring them all back in. This will never change until the system is brought down to its knees, disassembled, and remade with the right people. And who are the right people? I don't know. And I'm not being disrespectful to Jack. He could be the right guy. I don't know. I'm just saying in general, we need to stop looking to politicians for help. They're not going to help us. That's not their job. That's not why they get elected. They get elected because they could solve a problem. But as soon as they get in office, we can't do that because this is going to happen, or I got to get this law passed. There's always a reason why shit can't get fixed. And I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of hearing people make excuses for Democrats and trans people and fucking people who are mentally ill that go out and kill people who have nothing to do with their problems. It's the gun's fault. It's religion's fault. It's because you're a transphobe or you're a homophobe. No, it's because there are sick, evil people in this world. It's a sad fact. My father was a cop, and he told me it's a sad fact, Seth, but there are people in this world that will only respond to violence. It's a sad fact. They don't respond to diplomacy. They don't respond to respect. They respond to a punch in the mouth. That is all they know. And we need to start accepting that fact that some people in this world are evil. Evil. And you cannot communicate with evil. It has to be rooted out. The guy today is evil.
So
Children is evil. And the politicians aren't going to stop it. They can't. They're more worried about the next election.
Right.
They're not worried about right now. They're worried about the next election cycle and getting re-fucking elected. That's all they're worried about. They spend 25% of their time in office actually working. The rest of the time is campaigning for the next election. What more do you need to know? It's community and family. That's how this is all going to get fixed.
And where have the churches been on this?
They're just as corrupt now as everybody else.
The churches have been silent, and I think this has been a problem. They should be taking a stand against this. Frankly, they are participating.
That is not true. Dr. Albert Mohler, who is the head of the Southern Baptist Convention, which is the largest collection of Protestant churches in the nation, he has a podcast every single day. He preaches on this. My church preaches on transgenderism. Pastor Jack Hibbs has one of the largest platforms in the country as a pastor. He is all about this all day, every day. I hear people say Christians aren't doing it, but they absolutely are, and they're more and more and more activating their communities. It's not fair. Yeah,
that's good to hear. I don't hear that much. I'm sure the podcasts are, listened as a widespread, but I don't hear that much locally about local churches and that thing. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if you're a church attendee or not, and what goes on in your church.
In fact, what I see are some churches celebrating Pride Week and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's not church.
participating.
That's a club.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not
So-
Christianity. Yeah. No, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but like I hear that a lot and I just get frustrated. I'm like, we're out here, we're doing the best we can. Yeah. Would I like more Christians to come in and speak up?
Mhm.
Of course, I want every single one, but we have the lost Christians that are in those churches with the pride flags too.
Yeah.
So, they're not going to help us. Yeah, we're in a bad spot, but go ahead, Jack. What else you got?
I am not hopeless about the whole thing. I think I probably will be, if I do get elected, I'll be in a good position at least to influence New Jersey in the right direction, who has been in the wrong direction, for 25 years. And it has been under Democrat rule, and the curriculum, the freedom to read, which allowed pornography to get it into the libraries, everything that is insidious and harmful to these kids were backed by Democrats. And the fact of the matter was they outnumbered the Republicans. So it was just a numbers game. It wasn't anything about what was moral, what was right. There were more Democrats than there were Republicans. And so we find Jersey in the condition that it is right now. So, but I'm hopeful right now, thanks to the Donald Trump victory, I think the pendulum is switching. There's nothing, at least in our state, there's nothing but bad news coming out of Trenton for the Democrats. So they have no platform, just like on the national level with Kamala. She had no platform to stand on. Jersey's in the same. So I'm excited about the possibility. The wind is to our back. This is the cycle for Jersey to jump on board. And I'm hoping, that the independents, and I'll call the loose Democrats, get on board with us. We're not crazy. These are not crazy ideas. And, we are not people full of hate or anything like that. But they can't elect Democrats, or it's just going to get deeper and deeper into a hole. So.
Yeah. We've got a question from the comments. Jack, what office are you running for?
All right. So I'm running for Assembly. Now in New Jersey, you've got three houses. You have the Assembly, you have the state Senate, and then you have the governor. And it turns out that for the past 25 years, the Democrats have had at least two of those houses for 25 years. In the past year, past 8 years, they've had all three. They've had a trifecta. So in Jersey, there are 40 districts, and there are 2 assembly people in each district. And I'm running for one of the assembly seats that's in the Cherry Hill area, Camden City, Haddonfield area. It's one of 40. So there's 2 seats for 40 districts. So there's 80 people in the assembly.
Great.
So it's the assembly that I'm running for.
Thank you, Jack. Damon, can you pop up the image of this Minneapolis's shooter's notebook? So I want to draw your attention to this sticker here, this Defend Equality sticker. It is a trans flag, and it's got a rifle on it. Looks like an AR-15 or something. I'm not
AK-47.
AK-47. Thank you. I knew Seth was going to jump in and fix that for me. Thank you. And so AK-47. So the politics that we started talking about. All right, we can take that down. Thank you. The politics that we started with the politician in the T-shirt with the so whatever it said, save trans kids, protect trans kids.
Right.
Now this kid, that obviously, that mentality obviously made it down to this young man who thought he was a girl. And so what this does, though, for me, I stand somewhere in between the two of you. Like, yes, I'm with Seth in that I just want everyone to pull their kids out of these schools, but I also know that that's not going to happen. We have to do what we can to save the children who are still going to be stuck inside this public school system, and elect common sense Republicans who are going to go in and fight for what they need, fight for what's right, fight to get rid of the ideology and the Freedom to Read Act, and with all the sexually explicit books and all that stuff. The thing is, what we have in many Democrat states is a sort of a Stockholm syndrome. So there's this Instagram account called South End SOS, and it's about the South End neighborhood of Boston. Now you can pay, probably $800,000 for a 2-bedroom condo in that neighborhood in a brownstone, and you're gonna have to step over a passed out drug addict to leave the steps of your brownstone to go to work in the morning. A kid recently stepped on a needle there. There's just people, in zombie pose, like bent over. It is absolutely one of the most horrific drug scenes and riddled with crime. People are squatting, breaking into apartments when people go on vacation. And South End SOS is putting these images and videos up every single day. And in every caption, she says, "Mayor Wu, where are you? Mayor Wu, please help us." Mayor Wu did this to these people. Mayor
Right.
Wu has caused more of the problems in Boston, the crime, the homelessness, the drug abuse, just, the revolving door on prosecutions. She is hell on wheels in that city. And the people of the city are turning to her for solutions. That's Stockholm syndrome. Punch me in the face and I ask you for an ice pack. That's what is going on. So it's
Right.
very hard to turn. There are some, day by day, I talk to more people. There's people are still coming out of the fog and waking up and realizing that the things that Donald Trump are doing, is doing are good for their wallets, good for their communities. Look at what's happening in DC. The people are on the news every day saying, "I can't believe how safe the city is. This is wonderful. I haven't walked around at night in ages, and I feel okay doing it now." So
Yeah.
it's happening, but there's still so many people who just will continue to fill in the circle next to the D just because they are victims and brainwashed into thinking that, that maybe this time the Democrat will make my life better.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are stuck on MSNBC and the networks, and they only get half the truth. And like the saying says, a half truth is still a whole lie. And many times if you talk to them about an incident like this, they may not even know about the notebook, for example, that the guy had. There'll be big gaps in the information that they have because may be painted just as an attack against a transgender kid.
That's all it's going to be painted as. I mean, that's all it's going to be. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and guns are bad.
right. Absolutely. So you have that, and then you have the Trump disorder syndrome that's driving. That's sort of beneath it all. Wishing for Trump to fail.
Oh no, they're wishing for him to die. They're vocal about him dying. That's what I'm saying. You can't reason with these people. You can't talk to them. They are fucking evil.
Yeah.
Evil. And I hope that offends them. I hope they get pissed off when I call them, but you're evil. I never wished for the death of Biden. I thought he was an idiot. I thought he was a fool, but never once did I go, I hope he dies. Or I hope someone shoots him. Never have I ever said. No one that I know has ever said that. But you can get on X right now or Facebook right now, and you can find post after post after post of people wishing him to be shot or dead. These people are evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, death is their best friend. I mean, everything with the Democrats is the party of death, including back to the trans thing, sterilizing children so that they can never reproduce. We've got a few more things to talk about before we close up tonight, but we'll be right back after a quick break.
Raising the flag, we ain't never gonna lag. Stone cold hearts in the land of the
All right, fellas, I have one last thing to present to you, and this unfortunately did not make many headlines at all. So back in 2023, at sort of a sister shooting to today's shootings. Today we had a Catholic school church service being shot up by a lunatic. The Covenant School in Nashville was a Christian school that another transgender person named Audrey Hale went into and killed 3 children and 3 adults that day in a rampage. Well, I recently learned that Audrey Hale was broke, and had complained in her diary about not having any money. It turns out that she had received a Pell Grant from the United States government in order to attend a local art school. And the way Pell Grants work is the government sends the money to the school. The school keeps whatever they need for tuition and then disperses the rest of the money to the student. Audrey Hale took her Pell Grant money and went out and bought the AR-15 and all the ammunition with our
Yeah.
tax dollars that she used to kill those children and adults at the Covenant School. Seth?
It's a broken system. It's broken. I don't know how much more evidence people need to see before they realize the system is not here for us. It's not here to help us. It's not here to benefit us because we don't know the rules to the game. And they will make sure we never do. And if we start to catch on, they'll change the rules. Kids are dead. Kids are dead. And we got that fucking mayor politicking, talking about agendas and pushing it down people's faces. You got that other schmuck wearing the shirt. It's never ending. And until the people of this country get pissed off enough, it's not going to stop. It's not. There'll be more dead kids because people do. Oh, I don't want to make waves. I don't want to be called a transphobe. Oh, I don't want to be ostracized from the community because I don't agree with them. You know what? No one ever said doing the right thing was easy. And if you're doing something that's easy, you're probably doing the wrong thing. You got to stand up and you got to point your finger and go, these people are sick. They are evil. I want them away from my children, and I will do what I have to do to protect my kids and your kids. And if that means people don't like you, wear it like a badge. Wear it like a goddamn badge right here on your chest and make sure everybody sees it. Be that parent. The one that when they see coming to the school, they're like, oh shit, here comes that guy again. Go get the principal. We know what's going to happen. Be that parent. Because if not, this shit's going to get into your school if it's not already there. And I guarantee you, it's already in your school. Stop being worried about being liked. Stop worrying about that. Worry about your kids. Worry about your neighbor's kids. Worry about kids in general. And stop being worried about not being liked because you're standing up for what's right because, well, that's not cool now.
All right.
So be it.
So this was the individual in Nashville?
Yes, Audrey Hale.
Right. So this person was going to carry this murder out one way or another. The one way she got opportunity first was this Pell Grant money. But if it wasn't that, it would have been something else.
Maybe she had less than $200 in her bank account was her complaint.
She would have gotten the money. If this is what they want to do, they're going to figure out a way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's not really the point. The point is we should have made it harder for her. We could have made it harder for her. And maybe it would have taken her longer to come up with the money. And maybe then there might have been a chance that somebody would have known, spotted something and stopped her. The fact that this Pell Grant money is being given out and there is absolutely no tracking, no accountability. If it should be used for tuition and books, then the books should all be purchased through the school and the money should only go to the school. And whatever is unused be dispersed back to the government. What else are people using Pell Grant money on? I remember years ago seeing a news report like kids using student loan money or government grant money for spring break vacations. And it didn't make, I didn't care. It was back when I was like totally apolitical and didn't really care.
Right.
If I had looked into it then, it probably would have been this. This is probably the same path. So how many of our tax dollars are being used for insanely ridiculous frivolity?
I agree. I didn't know that the Pell Grant money was dispersed to the individuals for playtime, for anything they want.
Yeah, it's not. So that's what I'm saying. Like if we
Yeah.
had some sort of controls on on our tax dollars, if the government had any sense of responsibility with how they treat our tax dollars, there's a chance that she would have been delayed or maybe even stopped. Maybe she would have just killed herself before she got around to saving up the money. Who knows?
I agree.
Yeah.
You know,
But I also agree with you that, a determined killer is going to,
Right.
most likely going to find a way.
I mean, but if you do that, you're going to have people complain. I mean, look at DC. They're actually fighting against law enforcement making their cities safer. They are fighting and protesting that. They are defending crime. You
I think
can't
it's
do
quite
anything without.
from Maryland and Virginia coming into DC, because all the black people that are being interviewed on the street are like, damn, this place looks good.
Yeah.
It's Democrats, and we need to stop viewing them as equals. They are evil people.
Yeah, it could be. This could be the end of the Democratic Party for a long time. I mean, it may be a dying party.
It'll never. There's always going to be evil. There's always going to be stupidity. There's always going to be arrogance and
It
ignorance.
will always
It
be.
will always be around. Always. And they may be lows and highs, peaks and valleys, but they will never go away. And just when we think we've got them beat, they're going to pop right back up as high as they were before, because stupidity and evil are abundant. They are abundant. And people that want to do the right thing are too afraid to do the right thing. And I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about just standing up and being heard. Just stand in the breach. Just be in their way. That's all you got to do. These people are cowards. They'll fold like a lawn chair. Just be there.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to see if Trump did anything about that Pell Grant money that's floating around, whether they doged it, and pull it back. I don't know, but it seems like a place where you could pull back and realize some savings.
Probably millions, billions.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Billions probably, or hundreds of billions, I would venture to say. Yeah, no, that is an interesting point. I think if Trump knew what I just put out, that was I read that in a Tennessee newspaper. I believe it was the Tennessee Star, which I follow. But I didn't see it anywhere else. It didn't come up, and I'm not saying it wasn't anywhere else. I'm saying I didn't see it anywhere else, and I certainly didn't see anybody. I am the only person who I have seen talking about it online at all, and that really is disturbing. So I doubt it has even reached Trump's ears, and he doesn't know about it. I wish it would, and I wish he would make a difference. But
I mean, I always thought a Pell Grant was money for tuition, and that was it. Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe books, something like that. Not
school stuff. Like it had to stay in the school. I didn't know you could take the money and run.
Yeah. It's really disturbing, isn't it? But you better get to bed, Seth, so you can get up and work tomorrow, so other people can go out and buy fun stuff that they want. They get their nails done and shit. That's but it hurts, doesn't it? It hurts.
It's to the point now where I don't care. I don't. You know what? You want to leech off of me? I can't stop it anymore. No one's going to make you stop. So you know what? Enjoy it, because hopefully one day this all ends, and you have to stand on your own 2 feet and be your own person, and then we're going to find out what you're made of. I can't, because if I kept thinking about this stuff tonight that we're talking about as I get off here and go to work, I'll be in an insane asylum in a day. I'll have a heart attack or a stroke. I can't. I've got my kids. I've got family. I got to worry about them, because I'm the last line of defense for them, and I take that very seriously. I am it. They get past me, they get them, and that's how I have it. That's my mentality. It's me versus them now, and I will do great and terrible things to protect my family. I came in this world covered in blood and screaming. I got no problem going out the same way. None whatsoever. And that means I'll protect other kids. I don't care. We have to adopt that mentality. It's us versus them now. There's no other way we're going to do this. Like I said, you can't communicate with these people. You can't reason with these people. They don't listen to logic. Their reality is they assume is everybody's reality. And if you don't fall in line with that, you have the problem. You are the danger. You are the homophobe, the transphobe, the racist. And if they can take away your humanity and look at you like that, they got no problem hurting you. If you are no longer a person to them, but you're a racist, in their mind, they are justified to hurt you. If you're a transphobe, in their mind, they are justified to hurt you. We can't reason with them. And you want to alleviate all these shootings? I know right off the top of my head 10 vets who would volunteer their time to sit on a school roof with rifles to protect those kids, who would go to a church armed and protect the people in that church for free. We need to start doing stuff like that. We need to stop assuming everybody has the best intentions and just realize, like I said before, there are evil people in this world and all they understand is violence. So we need to find people who have no problem communicating in violence. Vets, arm them, put them in schools, put them in churches, put them in malls. They will do it for free. They're trained, they know what they're doing, and they have no problems helping people. That's what we got to start doing.
Yeah, Jack, final thoughts. What do you think about arming armed guards at schools in New Jersey?
I'm for it. In fact, better security in all the buildings in New Jersey, I think is we should put more money and more standardization. Some of the buildings in some of the smaller towns are vulnerable, and in other towns with more money, they've got better. So one of the things on the website, actually on our website, which is votejackandpete.com, I have a whole section there about upgrading all the schools and standardizing the protective measures of the school buildings throughout the 600 school districts in New Jersey, so that they're all as good as they can be. So yeah, I'm for it.
All
I
right.
want to say one more thing before we go. Just because I'm saying this does not mean Jack ascribes to anything I'm saying. Same thing with Elena. I don't want people going, well, Jack was on that show with him. He must feel the same way. Don't. That's not fair to him.
That's what they do. It's too bad, right?
I don't want the Republicans thinking it's not fair to him. Just
Yeah.
because we're on the same podcast doesn't mean he agrees with everything I say, and that's fine. But don't hold these people, don't hold these two accountable for what I say. What I say is what I say. It's not
I am excited about our campaign. I'm excited about the future of New Jersey, and I'm this is how I'm going to expend my energy here is on this campaign, on these issues, and just take a really screwed up state and try to get it back on track.
Good.
To me, that's the challenge here.
And don't take me wrong. I wish you the best of luck. None of this was directed at you at all. None of it. So don't think it was.
No, you know what? We're good practice for Jack going out and knocking on doors and talking to people because we're like two angry Americans, right? So it that's all right. I want to first of all thank you, Jack, for sticking your neck out and doing this.
It was my pleasure.
It is really, really difficult to run for office. I find it incomprehensible in this really just mean political climate that we live in, meaner than we've ever seen.
It can be very mean. I will tell you that the Democrats, to your point, Seth, as I run into a Democrat and, the first thing they'll ask me, are you a Democrat or a Republican? If I say Republican and they are Democrats, they just give me this. They are unhappy people.
Oh, yeah.
They are mean. They're very mean people, and they do insult you. And I was actually at a rally surrounded by a bunch of libs, and I was getting some, physical, some abuse, verbal abuse, I should say, not physical, but it was getting close to physical. They're nasty. They can be very nasty people.
Miserable human beings. And I can't imagine going through life like that. I can't.
And they've got their signs out. No, hate does not live here. That's unbelievable.
I'm surprised they could spell it right.
Yeah, that's where I know hate lives.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I want to. You mentioned something, Jack, about the future of New Jersey. So I want to close out tonight with a note about the Annunciation School in Minneapolis, which went through this horrible tragedy today. Everything we've talked about was around the fact that these children lost their lives, and so many are going to be just destroyed forever. The school every year has a scriptural theme. I was reading up on their website that they tried to weave into their teachings throughout the year for the children. And for the 25-26 school year, the scripture that is going to set the tone is from Jeremiah 29:11. For I know full well the plans I have for you, Actually, plans for your welfare and not for your misfortune. Plans that will offer you a future filled with hope. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty sad. Pretty
It
sad.
is.
Pretty sad.
It's
But
heartbreaking.
I want to thank you guys both. Seth, this is your network, so thank you for having me on as a host. Jack, I look forward to talking to you on
Likewise.
the show.
I
And
look forward to it.
so this was great get to know you tonight. VoteJackandPete.com. Is that right?
That's right.
VoteJackandPete.com.
Vote Jack and Pete. That's it.
And Seth, when is your Conservative Corner show airing?
Sunday at 7 till 8:30
You get to hear Seth yell
for an hour and a half.
minutes. Great. Sometimes there's a guest. Sometimes Seth just yells for 90 minutes.
It's incredible. It's like my superpower.
Actually, when I'm available and I tune in, yeah. It's like a bedtime story. Calms me right down. Yeah.
I'm very soothing. I'm like chamomile tea.
Yeah.
very soothing.
Chamomile tea. And we had like a shot of 3 shots of vodka and a Red Bull put in. Yeah. So all right, fellas, this has been great. I'm grateful.
I just want to end with, look, we need to pray for these children.
Yes.
Pray for the parents. But I really do think it's morning time in America. I think there's better times ahead of us. And, it's just these awful things happen. But I am hopeful about the future of the country, the future of the state. But there's a lot of work. We have to clean up a lot of garbage and trash that we're surrounded by, frankly.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. A future filled with hope. All right. If if you're in the audience, you're still watching, don't forget to share this video, drop a sub, like, comment, do all the things, and come back again next week for the Pulse, 8 o'clock every Wednesday. God bless you guys.
Good night.
Raising the flag, we ain't never gonna lag. Stone cold hearts in the land of the free, galvanized truth, just you and me. Freedom
Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country, America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.